Wow, I've never even heard of Be Live.
Okay, we are now live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Social Chats. This is episode number 31. And I just want to say I am going to be looking up now and again because I'm saying hi to the people on Twitter because I have my smartphone just above my computer, where we are now live here on Facebook. So on today's show, we have an Instagram pro. Now, our guest has over 46,000 followers on Instagram. And wouldn't you like to know how this happened? Well, we're going to ask him. And then we're going to ask him if there's actually any secrets behind his success. And then our guest is going to take us on his Instagram journey. But before we get started, let's talk about Social Chats. What is Social Chats? It is a behind-the-scenes show that Catherine and I are absolutely passionate about. We go out and we look for people that are professional and that are killing it in their industry. And it doesn't matter if it's social media, their website, or learning how to network with other people in person. And we ask those people to come and be on our show to share with you their success and their journey. Now, if you think that you would like to be on Social Chats because you would be a wonderful guest, or if you would like to produce your own live show, then don't hesitate to send a private message to Catherine and I here on our Facebook business page, or of course on Twitter as well. And we have quite a few people joining in right now. So welcome, everyone. I also like to say welcome to the people that are watching the replay. We tend to get thousands of people watch our replay of Social Chats well after the show is over. So over the next 30 minutes, we are going to invite you either on Twitter or here on Facebook to ask your questions directly in the comment section. And we will endeavor to get all of those questions answered. And don't forget to say hi, give us some love, let us know that you're there. Maybe even tell us where you are tuning in from. Welcome, the first day on Periscope. Okay, well, we are actually tweeting through Periscope into Twitter. So we welcome you to Periscope as well. Now, let's see if I have anything else to cover off. Just ask your questions and let us know that you're here. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce to you today's guest on Social Chats. Now, I have known this young man since he was born, and it is a very, very good family friend, both his mom and father and all their relatives. And when I found out about the 46,000 followers on Instagram, I just said, wow, we have to ask Chris Clark to come on Social Chats and share with all our viewers how he became so successful. So at this time, I would like to welcome into our studio, Chris Clark from Clark Tips. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. And where are you at today?
I'm based in San Diego right now.
Okay. So, and is it beautiful and sunny there?
It's always nice here.
Yeah. Catherine and I were just in San Diego a month ago for Social Media Marketing World. And the weather wasn't great, but boy, what a beautiful city. What a beautiful
city. I love it here. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course.
And I guess the number one question that everyone is dying to hear is, how the heck did you get 46,000 followers on your Instagram account?
Well, the reason why I initially decided to make, like a fitness Instagram is because, I never really had the interest of making one, but I had a friend back in college who had one. And while I'm naturally like an introvert, I never really thought to make something like that and really put myself out there. And it was kind of scary at first. But I decided to make one. And really, I would say the biggest thing that has really caused that success as far as like building my exposure and reach would be just staying consistent and, making sure to post every single day.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so you post every day. That is a question that a number of people had.
Yeah, I think that's really essential.
Mm-hmm. And when you say that you post every day, Chris, do you have a specific time that you post every day?
You know what? I used to post like around like 3 or 4 p.m. every single day Pacific time. But I do think a lot of people um, think it's really important, but I really don't see the importance of that because sometimes I'll post at a random time and like my post does really well, you know? So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of those things that really isn't as important as most people think it is.
Yeah, and do you go into your insights on your Instagram account to find these things out, or are you just watching, posting, watching, and seeing
I
what
mean,
people
there's definitely like a trial and error type thing, and you definitely learn what works and what doesn't. But in the end, I think it's really easy to get caught up in all of that kind of stuff. And really, like I focus on just putting out consistent content every single day. I think that's number one.
that is number one. The key word that Chris just used was consistency. And with any social media platform, consistency is the key. Tell me about your following. So you started out with just like everyone else, and then all of a sudden it started growing. When did it really take off for you?
I would say in the first like 5 or 6 months, I maybe built like maybe 7 or 8 thousand. Uh,
Wow.
and then I actually went kind of MIA and I stopped posting for maybe 7 months or so. And then I met my girlfriend and she was posting every single day and she really pushed me to do that. And that's when it actually took off when I was posting every single day. So it really, the consistency I'd say is everything.
Okay. And so if you're posting on Instagram every day because you're being consistent, what are you posting that people are loving so much? I mean, I know because I've been following your Instagram account. I've been following you on YouTube. So I understand your persona and the way that you work. But for the people that don't know you just yet, what is it that you've been posting?
Well, my main niche is fitness, but I like posting like a combination of like, let's say motivational, informative, funny content, you know, and when it comes to the fitness kind of realm.
Okay, so you're sharing with people how to have a better life when it comes to fitness.
Yeah.
I've already picked up one tip when I watched the video on YouTube the other day about abs. So, great. So you're posting something that people are really interested in. Tell me, generally, the people that are following you at Clark Fit on Instagram, who are they? Who's your audience?
Um, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of different followers. It's not really geared towards a specific age. I would say as far as age group, anywhere from like 18 to like 35.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, I feel like I really have a really diverse following.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when we're talking with our clients and we ask them, you know, if you were going to spend money on ads instead of blanketing the entire world, because we know we have people that are 18 and we have people that are 75 on our social media, if you're only going to spend a little bit of money, you just did it. You nailed precisely the people that are following you are generally around your age anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Now, I have a question. You know, it would be amazing if every one of our posts had 5,000 to 9,000 likes like your posts are getting. It's amazing. But that comes with a lot of work. I mean, if you're paying attention and working your notifications, people are probably asking you questions and expecting an answer. How the heck can you handle that?
I really. So do you mean as far as comments or like direct messages or?
Yeah. Generally, do you comment back to people when they comment on your posts? Definitely, when it comes to private messages, like how do you handle all of the notifications?
I mean, as far as private messages go, I'll respond to anyone who actually has like a genuine question, um, or is just maybe inspired. Like I always get back to those people, and then obviously there's certain people who I don't really want to respond to.
Yeah, of course.
um, but and then as far as comments, yeah, I try to always. Sometimes I miss them, but I try to always comment back to every single person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
I do think there's some validity in the idea that, you know, after the first like hour or so of posting, you do want to get like as big of a flush of people to your page as possible to, you know, really increase the chances of it getting like pushed to the explore feed.
okay. And I will ask you another question in that's to do with your posting. What about hashtags? If you can use up to 30 hashtags in your post, are you actually using 30? How do you handle hashtags? And maybe tell our viewers that are really unfamiliar or scared of hashtags, how that works for you.
I honestly probably overdo it when it comes to hashtags. What I personally do is I'll post a picture with my caption and everything, and then the first comment, I actually comment my hashtags. But like I said, I probably do too many. I have probably 25 or so. And I mean, they're all fitness related. You know, they're really kind of targeted towards my specific niche.
Okay. And do you find that those hashtags are driving more traffic to your Instagram account and you're getting more people liking your account because of the hashtags that you're using?
I would definitely say in year 2017 and before that, it definitely was increasing my exposure. But honestly, I know for a fact they've changed the algorithm like beginning of 2018. And I've noticed that like I've experimented with it and just not posted any hashtags. And, you know, my exposure hasn't gone up or gone down because of it. So I'm not really sure about that one.
Okay. I'm just curious, have you started using the new trending hashtag, which is Insta, like Insta San Diego or Insta Muscle Fitness or any of those things?
I haven't, no.
I just came across it actually 2 weeks ago. I did a breakfast speaking engagement in Vancouver, and so I was searching out hashtags and what the appropriate amount and all those things are to use. And I came across the new trending thing is Insta anything. So in my example, I was working in the real estate realm, so Insta Real Estate, Insta Vancouver was the new trending thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you, Chris, what other social networks are you using?
I do a little bit of YouTube, but that's pretty much it. Instagram's like my main thing.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to YouTube, that's a video-based social media. How do you shoot your videos?
I really just shoot it on my iPhone. I don't really have a nice camera right now. But I think people really like the raw video and not really putting too much work into it, honestly.
Your videos are so natural. It's not that you didn't put a lot of work in it. It's, you know, people aren't looking for perfection. People aren't looking.
Really not. I think people really like vulnerability. And if they can relate to you, then they're going to like you a lot more.
When you're shooting your videos, you're just talking to people. You're saying, hey, this is what I do and this is what I don't do because I noticed this didn't work. Or you say, usually I do this, like you were at Gold's Gym and I guess some equipment wasn't available, but you just went ahead and shot the video anyhow and said, in lieu of doing what I wanted to do, I'm doing this. But you're so natural when you did it. Is someone shooting the videos for you?
When I'm talking or for the workouts or what?
Well, I guess for the workout, someone obviously is because your hands on the barbells. But
I do have one of those, like, is it like a gorilla stick or something? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I do have it, but just for my iPhone. You know, eventually, if I do start posting more YouTube, I'll definitely get like a nicer like vlogging camera.
Okay. Perfect. And on that vein, I wanted to ask you, your pictures are phenomenal. The pictures that you use on Instagram are really beautiful. Are you taking those with your iPhone?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So did you take a little bit of a photography course, how to use your iPhone properly? You just naturally can do it.
I mean, I do have some friends that will have like nicer Sony cameras. So occasionally there's going to be a picture that's obviously shot with like a, you know, $1,000 camera. But like a mass majority of my pictures are just with the iPhone, like the iPhone 8 camera is a really good camera, as long as you use really good like natural lighting. And then I do slightly edit my stuff a little bit using, there's an app called Photoshop Express. I think it's just PS Express or something.
Okay.
And I mess around with the clarity and also the, saturation, exposure, stuff like that, just to make it a little bit cleaner. And then something I've been experimenting with a little bit lately is an app called Snapseed. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, we have.
It's just kind of cool because you can actually take the saturation out of the background and kind of like gray it out and then really make like yourself pop. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I know exactly what you're saying. Catherine, actually, my business partner who's up skiing today, she is really phenomenal when it comes to using the smartphone and apps and for making the pictures pop out, as you say. It's one of the things that we teach during our social media boot camp, actually.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you do work with a photographer. We got a lot of people online that are saying hi. So welcome to Social Chats. And for those of you that are watching the replay, we have Chris Clark with us today from Clark Fit. And he is an Instagram superstar. And he's just sharing with us who he is, what he does, and how he became so successful with his Instagram account. And right now we're talking about photos that he uses and how he makes them stand out a little bit better. I've got lots of people that's their first day on Periscope. Well, welcome to Twitter through Periscope. Twitter, Chris, has been a really successful live component for our social chats. We were talking about that before you came, before we went live, actually. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, I asked you about your relationship with your photographers. Are you having to pay photographers, or is it kind of like have you developed maybe a trade system?
Honestly, like when I had less followers, I actually was getting into modeling, so it was easy to get like pictures through my agency and whatnot, and then also create that relationship with the photographers, and then, you know, they'd be willing to get me free shots. But right now I'm not really currently working with any photographers really. But like my friends, like if you have like let's say like a Sony Alpha like A7, which is like $1,000 camera, like I have a couple of friends who have those. They look like professionally done photos. So
yeah, and then they just share them with you. They must be having a lot of fun with what you're up to.
For sure.
Let me ask you, when you're about to post on Instagram, you put the picture up, and then you have a choice when you click next of the filters. Do you use filters, and what's your favorite filters that you're using on Instagram?
Yeah, so I personally don't use filters on Instagram. Like I said, the main two apps that I personally use are going to be, you know, Photoshop Express. So that's going to be the app where I really mess with any colors if I do. Like if it's a little bit darker than I want it to, then I might increase the exposure. There's that clarity adjustment that kind of makes the whole photo a little bit cleaner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can even add something, I think it's called defog or something like that, where it actually like gives you more of a tan, like stuff like that. And it just makes the entire photo more appealing, in my opinion.
Okay, perfect. Besides your posts, I was on your Instagram account and I was watching your stories. And the cool thing when you have more than 10,000 followers on Instagram is you can swipe up. And can you tell me, first of all, or tell the people that are listening in, what are you doing for your stories? What are your stories about?
Honestly, I'm really bad about it because, like I said, I'm naturally an introvert, so talking a lot on camera doesn't really come that easy to me. But definitely, you know, if you're like starting out on Instagram and trying to grow, you need to utilize stories because it's so easy to create that like rapport and connection with people when they can actually see your face and your voice as well, you know. But typically, like I'll just maybe promote, you know, the supplements I take, or you know, like a coaching program that I'm selling or something like that. That's typically, or like a YouTube video they can swipe up or something like that.
Okay. You also have Well, those are your highlights that are above your post, which is relatively new to Instagram, by the way. So if a lot of you are just getting onto Instagram, you're probably going to have to learn how to do stories first and get comfortable with that. And then you can create your highlights, which is like Chris was saying, he has them just above where his posts are. And you're showcasing several different features. I guess one was your YouTube channel. You have, tell me how you created your highlights. Was it easy?
Do you mean like the cover photo?
No, I mean the little round circles above where all your posts are.
Yeah. Do you mean like the actual cover for the highlights? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
the whole idea behind how you created it.
Okay. Well, as far as the cover photos, like when you see like the little icon, I actually had Sam do that for me. But it's really, really easy. There's an app called Canva. Have you ever heard of it?
We love Canva.
Yeah, they actually added an option for specifically Instagram stories. So then you can go in, you can add the little circle that I have, and then you can throw in an icon that you find on like Google, and then you have one. And then as far as actually creating the highlights, I'm sure you already know this, but you can like go back to previous stories that you've posted and just like kind of put them all together under one highlight. Okay,
yeah, exactly. Now, I know that and you know that, but sometimes the people that are watching, they don't know. So you've just given them a really beautiful gold nugget that they're going to struggle with and then they're going to succeed. And yeah,
it's so cool that Instagram, because Instagram saves all of your stories and you can go back and actually put like certain ones together under, let's say like one of mine is coaching. So each time I promote coaching, I'll put that all under the coaching highlight.
And interesting, some people think that stories disappear after 24 hours, but you just said that Instagram actually is saving those stories and you can use certain ones that you choose in your highlights.
Yeah. Is that only if you have a business profile? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and you're running a business profile, correct?
Yeah.
And there's lots of reasons, number one, why you want a business profile over a personal profile, especially if you're a business. And that's because you have analytics that tell you if what you're doing is working, besides just getting the likes and visually seeing those. But also you can, if you have what we call unicorns, those are posts that do really well. Chris's posts are on fire. And you can put money behind those posts when you see that they're doing well through your analytics. And you can't do that through just having a personal Instagram account. Here's a question, Chris. Do you spend money on advertising?
So obviously there are a lot of routes you can go with spending money on Instagram. I would say that there's ads through Instagram, right? Which I personally have never done because I think the ads on Instagram are getting better, but I have heard that really when it comes to ads, Facebook ads are probably the most effective. And then Instagram isn't that effective. So I personally haven't wasted any money. I do know that when I was like first starting out on Instagram, I did pay for a couple like shout outs. That's something that I found was really effective. Maybe on like a bigger fitness page that had like, 300,000 followers, where you can give them like a mere $20 and they'll put you on their page for 24 hours. And then I would gain like 1,000 followers, but that's the extent that I would really go when it comes to putting money into my Instagram. I think too many people pay for these social media agencies that really do like follow, unfollow and all that kind of stuff, and really grow your page, in my opinion, the wrong way and inorganically.
Yeah, 100%. Catherine and I say the same thing. You cannot pay to get legitimate likes. Although you did give another gold nugget when you said there are certain pages that you can pay to be on their page. And I guess that would be related pages to whatever your business is.
I think that's at least a better option, because it's not like you're paying for followers. They're still seeing your page and then deciding to follow you if they want to. You know what I mean?
Now you have downloads where you give people, are you giving away free information on fitness that you encourage people to download, or what is it you're looking for on your bio? You have a link. Tell us about that and why you chose it.
The link tree. So I actually have a decent amount of links that I want people to get access to. So obviously you only get one link in the bio, So there's a really cool website called Linktree. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people are using it, where you can click it and then you can actually have like upwards of like 5 or 6 links under one link. And so like I have my application for coaching, which directs them to a website called Typeform, where they fill out the application. I have my, supplement website that they can go to. I have like a little app that they can download for $25, and it puts them through like a 12-week training program. And then I also have my latest YouTube video. So right now I only have 4.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing. That's really good. And so if you were to tell someone who's watching right now that's just getting onto Instagram, which Instagram, by the way, is one of the fastest growing social media networks that's out there right now, 800 million active users. They say that Instagram is the new Facebook. So balance your social media out if you're 100% only using Facebook. But Chris, if you could give, I mean, you've already given a lot of little nuggets, and thank you for this. But if you were to tell someone who was brand new and just starting out, hold their hand and tell them what to do.
I would definitely say it's kind of intimidating. But I would say, one, you have to be consistent. Try to post every single day, and not really don't get too down on like whether a post gets, half the amount of likes as the one previous. Just worry about consistency is number 1. 2, I would say being vulnerable, and don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because that's what people really connect to. And then 3, I would say use all of the features that Instagram, gives you, right? I think Instagram really rewards people in terms of their algorithm for people who actually use all the aspects. So like hashtags, get on Instagram Live, do stories every single day, post every single day. Because, if you're constantly doing that, you're constantly bringing people back onto the platform and onto your page. And so I think Instagram's really going to push your profile that way. And I actually think there's one thing that I'm going to start doing, I think, which is really, really smart, in my opinion, is taking advantage of Instagram split lives. Because when you go live on Instagram, I'm sure you know this, instead of, you see the stories at the top, which are actually part of the algorithm, like whether you see a certain one. It's not, I don't think it's chronological, I'm not sure. But if you do an Instagram Live, it notifies all of your followers. Usually they'll get like a notification, and you'll get, pushed to the very front of the line. And so if you do an Instagram split live, let's say me and you did one, then all of my followers would get notified that I'm on live. And obviously live is way more engaging, right? So people always want to be on live. And then they would see who you are, right? So if you bring on other people who have similar amount of followers, then you're both basically sharing each other's followers.
Yeah, totally. I mean, video right now is the number 1 source of content that the consumer is absorbing. And before we have said this several times. I mean, you're in the United States, Chris. You have this, and we don't have it, and it's called Facebook Watch. So it's episodic television that you can watch on Facebook from your smartphone. And so what Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, all the other networks that are doing episodic television are looking for from you and I, and probably more you, Chris, is short shows, short commercials, episodic, just like this one is, Social Chats. So they can use them in your area, on their networks, and then put commercials into them. So that's where we're going. If you start watching, Chris, Facebook Watch on your phone, you will start getting ideas about more things that you can do with those 46,000 followers that you have on Instagram.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I'm definitely going to look into that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this. We're going to say goodbye to everyone right now because, believe it or not, we're 30 minutes into our Social Chats. How was that? Did you enjoy that, Chris? I
really liked it. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to just hang out on the side for a second while I yes, thank you. I'm going to say goodbye to Chris, and I'm going to tell everyone that was such a wonderful show having Chris Clark with Clark Fit on Instagram. You need to follow him. Watch what he's doing. Watch what other successful people are doing, and this just mirror their posts, what they're up to, and you too eventually will see the success that other people are having. My name is Heather. This is Social Chats. We're just wrapping up our 30 minutes here on Facebook Live. And if you're watching the replay, thank you very much. Next week, we have a couple of amazing people. Another person from California, actually, who just sent us our Facebook and Instagram hoodies and shirts, is going to come on the show and talk to us about her journey. And until we see each other again, remember what our motto is here. Keep it simple. Thank you, Twitter. Ended. Wow.